Good afternoon. Hope everyone is doing well today. Let's go ahead and get right into it. All right. So, for those of you all who are just joining us, today we're going to talk about what most people don't know about a VA loan. Okay. So, for those of you all who don't know, or you may have family or friends that are in the military, they need to take advantage of this loan type. Okay. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So, here's the thing. First things first. uh, VA loans don't require a down payment in most cases. Okay, that's the whole point of a VA loan. Okay, and so I want to make sure people understand what a down payment is versus what closing cost is. Okay, so I want to make sure that everyone understands this. Okay, so a VA loan is where you do not have to put down any money based on a traditional down payment. Okay. So when you are buying a home, typically you have to put down a down payment. And the reason being is because the mortgage companies, they want to make sure that you're not, that you got some skin in the game. Okay. Um, and when you go with the FHA loan, which is a very common loan, especially for first time home buyers, that requires 3.5% down. Okay. And so when you are, let's say, for example, looking to get a home in general, that's usually going to be 3.5% down if you go FHA, or if you go conventional, it could be 3%, 5%, 10%, 15%, or 20% down. With the VA loan, this is administered by the Veterans Administration. This is going to give you $0 down. Okay. Now, that doesn't cover your closing cost. Okay. Your closing cost is going to be what the title company charges, is going to be you have to pay for an attorney. Okay. If the seller is not paying your real estate agent, then there's a chance you may have to pay your buyer's agent. Okay. So there are going to be some fees that are going to be inside of that. But to get around that, you could just ask for a closing cost credit. Okay. More on that if you guys go ahead and save your seat at our homein90days.com. It's a free webinar that we got coming up on tomorrow. But anyway, this is one of the only loan programs where you can buy a home with zero down in today's market. We're talking right now, today, next month, next week, okay, next year, doesn't matter. It's not tied to income limits per se, meaning that you can qualify even with higher earnings. Okay, so just keep those things in mind again when you have a VA loan. Now, you must have an honorable discharge, or of course, be active military as well too, in order to take advantage of this type of loan. Okay. Now, also, we have a free webinar that's actually tomorrow. Okay. We're showing you how to increase your credit score and go into homeownership. Some of you all say, well, Calvin, I don't have any credit issues. No problem. You still can learn how to buy a home. Okay. There's a free webinar, and you can see right here on your screen. We've helped so many people go right into homeownership, rental property ownership. We've helped so many people increase their credit scores and qualify for homeownership. Okay. Now, spots are filling up, and once they're gone, that's it. Now, last time we did a free webinar, last time we did this, we had to turn people away because it was too many people in. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Don't wait to get registered. You can scan that QR code right there on your screen, or you can go to home in 90 days. Okay.com. Okay. I just put that inside the chat as well. Let's continue. All right. Now, next, your credit score still matters, even with VA flexibility. Okay. The VA itself doesn't set a minimum credit score, but lenders typically want at least a 580 to 620. Okay. Now you're going to see people talk about those types of things. However, again, a 580 is where a 580 is to get your foot in the door. Where you want to be, though, is about 620 or higher. Okay. The reason being is because when you're a 580, even though you're going with VA, the lender is going to need a lot of different types of things. It makes the loan easier. The higher your credit score, 620, 650, 680, 700s, the higher your credit score, the easier the loan is going to be. Okay. But usually anywhere between 620 to 850 is going to be just fine. But again, when you're under 620, that between that 580 to 620 range, that's when the loan they ask for a lot of stuff. It's less red tape, as I like to say. Okay. Now, better credit means better interest rates, and even on a VA loan. However, a lot of times lenders use the market rate. So, because sometimes people say, well, how do I get the best rate? Here's the thing. Usually most lenders are going to give you the market rate if you're 620 and above. Okay. So that's when we talk about with better credit. Can you do it with 580? Yes. But to get the better terms, you want to be 620 or higher. Okay. Even when you got a VA loan, you most definitely want to focus in on that. Okay. Next, because a lot of times people don't know this, and they think that they can only use their VA loan one time. Okay. You most definitely can. You can use your VA loan more than once. Okay. And of course, we already see elite people are inside of the chat. So if you guys are part of the 850 Club Elite, let us know inside the chat here. Okay. We'll be jumping into the chat in a little bit. Now, you're not limited to one home or one loan in your lifetime. Okay. You're not limited to that. You can get as many VA loans as you want. Here's the thing. You can only have one open VA loan. Okay. You can't buy a home using your VA loan, living in that home, and then want to buy a second property using another VA loan without closing your other VA loan. Okay. So you can only have one open VA loan. Now, what I've seen some people do, they'll buy a property, they'll use their VA loan, and then after a couple of years, they may turn the previous property into like a rental property, and they just refinance out of that loan to open up the VA loan again. Okay. Now, as long as you restore your entitlement, you can use it again, even if you've used it before. Okay. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. All right. Let's keep going. Next, you can buy more than just a single family home. You can buy more than just a single family home. Okay. VA loans allow for multi-family units up to 4 units. Okay. And as long as you live in one of those units, what does that mean? That means that if you want to buy a 2-unit property, you can buy that using your VA loan. A 3-unit or a 4-unit property, you can buy that using your VA loan. Now, for those who don't know what that means, these are, of course, multifamily, so you can rent them out. Okay, so you can buy a property as long as you live in one of the units and you're renting out the units. Okay, now the lender will still ask you for they still may need to see reserves. You may not have to have a down payment, but you still need to have reserves. Reserves means money that you have saved. You don't have to bring it to closing, but they need to see it. Why do most lenders require typically having reserves when you're going with a 3-unit or 4-unit? With a 2-unit, they're more chill because it's just you and another unit. But when it's 3 to 4 units, what the lender wants to make sure that you're ready to have or handle is if someone's late on the rent, if someone does not pay rent. Let's say it's you living in a 4-unit property. So you're living into one. So there's 3 that you're collecting rent on. If all 3 don't pay rent, they want to make sure financially that you can pay the mortgage. They want to make sure that you can cover at least 3 to 6 months. Why do they do that? Various reasons. It's a safety net, but they would hate for you to be in a situation where you've now rented out the property or property's vacant and you're in a situation where you are banking on that rent and now someone's not paying it. By the way, a lot of people don't know this. This is a sidebar. When you buy multifamily property, your buying power is higher. Here in Illinois, and the numbers are about the same everywhere except for like California, New York, maybe like the DC area. Those are a little bit like higher price points on an average. A lot of people don't know that your buying power goes up higher. So usually it's about 30 to 35,000. So for example, if your pre-approvals, like let's say 250,000 for a regular mortgage, 250,000. If you say, you know what, I want to buy a 2-unit property, because I had a client where they had a pre-approval for a single family home. Just so you all know, at 95% of not first time home buyer, 95% of pre-approvals, you can go with a 2-unit property automatically. Okay. The only time where the numbers get, I will say, not difficult, but they got to confirm the numbers, is when you start talking 3-unit or 4-unit. What do I mean? If you've already been pre-approved for a single family home, there's a 95% chance you can also get approved for a 2-unit. Okay. A 2-flat, 2-unit, duplex. Every area calls them something different, but another unit to rent out. Why is that important? There are sometimes, watch this, 50% of the people that get denied for a single family home, right? And it's not based on credit, it's like based on debt. 50% of them can actually buy a 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit. They just can't do a single family home. Isn't that crazy? You know why that is? Because when you have a 2-unit, 3-unit, or 4-unit property, you are allowed, well, the lender, they are allowed to add in what they call assumed income or assumed rent collected. So that's why the buying power goes up, because the assumption is your income is now going up because now you're making money from the rental properties. I'm giving y'all too much. But anyway, these are the type of things we'll be breaking down, guys. Again, home90days.com. If you haven't registered, you need to get in the building. Okay. But anyway, this is a powerful wealth building opportunity that many veterans overlook. Okay. Listen, vets, y'all get way more than just discounts at your local, I don't know, place, right? You all have fought for this country. There's a lot of advantages here. We're not even talking about tax advantages, right? Equity and things of that sort. Okay. This is one of the biggest benefits. Do you know how many veterans are not using their VA loans? Do you know how many veterans are not using their VA loans? Okay. Listen, too many, way too many. Okay. So here, I'm telling you, this is where you need to be. All right, let's keep going. Now, no PMI is required even with zero down. What does this mean? For those who don't know, when you buy when you have a FHA loan or a conventional loan and you put down less than 20%, then there's typically a PMI on most loans. There are some lenders that create some different types of things, but for the most cases, nationwide, this is going to be the case. That PMI is usually 1% of the purchase price. It depends. Everyone's numbers are a little bit different, but that's usually on average. But unlike FHA and conventional loans, VA loans don't charge monthly mortgage insurance. Okay. So again, this is a lower monthly payment and more buying power. So all my veterans, now, it's nothing wrong with renting. I need to say that first because I don't want to offend anybody. There are some people who don't want to rent anymore. I'm talking to you, the ones that don't want to. Because sometimes people make it sound bad if people are renting. There's nothing wrong with renting. If that's what you want to do your thing. If that's what makes you happy, do your thing. Right? Listen, landlords listen, I'm a landlord. We need people, okay, to pay rent, pay on time, and be great tenants. Okay. It's a win-win situation for everybody. Tenants want to be great. They want great landlords, great property owners, great property managers, things of that sort. Great. It's a win-win for everybody. Okay. However, if you're a veteran and you're watching this and you're tired of renting, we need to put a strategy in place. You got it. Listen, you got to take action. Someone put in the comments, action. You must take action. Okay. It doesn't take a lot for us to get there. All right. And we're going to help you guys get there. All right. Now, here's the deal. We can help you accomplish your credit goals. As I mentioned, we do have the free webinar that is here. Okay. Again, this is home90days.com. So which one here, I'm going to put it inside the chat here as well, just so you guys know where to go. Okay. Home90days.com. It's a free webinar. I'm going to be showing you all the most common things that hold people's credit scores back from home ownership. Okay. Now, I've helped so many people use their VA loans. This is a young lady I went to high school with. She actually used her VA loan. Okay. So again, and bought a multi-family unit property. Okay. And has so much equity. I ain't putting her business out there. Everybody on this list got equity. Okay. Because your property is worth more than what you owe. Even if let's say you know what I love about real estate? And this is not coming from an agent, right? Just because my wife and I own a 5-star Google rated firm right here in Illinois. But the thing is that we bought property well before we even were thinking about selling real estate. The thing is about real estate is that even if the values don't go up, you still have the equity, right? That's not going to happen. But my point is, if you have a $250,000 loan, a $200,000 loan, you're constantly paying that loan down, right? Most people, they have their homes, but they don't keep cars. We don't keep these types of things. But a home, people typically keep that. Either way, she bought a multi-unit property using her VA loan. Then here's another gentleman right here. Oh, you know what? I think she had a VA loan too. I think she did, but I know for a fact he did. So this is a guy that lives right here in Illinois. Use his VA loan. Listen, we've helped him use his VA loan 3 times. 3 times, okay, in the last 6 years. 3 times this guy has now used it, okay? Listen, man. He has an amazing strategy. It's real simple. He buys the property using his VA loan. He lives inside the property. Then he refinances out of it and then buys the next property with VA. A little bit of moving around a little bit, but now he owns multiple properties because he's been doing this for years. But he was like, man, I couldn't find and it's so hard to find agents that's not lazy, is what he said. He's a client for life. And of course, we've been working with him for years now, I think since 2018. So it's been amazing to be working with him as well. Okay. And here's another one as well, too. Down here at the bottom, there's another gentleman who used his VA loan as well. And not only did he use his VA loan, he's able to get tax exempt or property tax exemption. So in an area where property taxes for him are $10,000, $9,000, $11,000 a year. I know some people down south are like, who in the hell would pay them high taxes? And then California, New York, people are like, man, y'all have no idea what these taxes are looking like. Okay, taxes is crazy everywhere. But anyway, my point is, he doesn't have to worry about that. So all my veterans, listen, there's a chance you may qualify for a property tax exemption. It's the least America could do for the veterans. Let's be honest. If something pops off, you got to call. Listen, y'all know what's going to happen, right? We got to be ready for these types of things, right? It's the least that they could do for veterans. Okay. But either way, he bought some property for his family, used his VA loan, no money down. And we negotiated the closing costs. The seller gave him a credit. By the way, a lot of sellers are giving veterans credits just because they're veterans. You can't bank on that. But let me tell you something. Sellers are like, hey, he's a veteran. We're just throwing it out there. So he's a veteran. He's using his VA loan. His closing costs are coming out to about $7,000 or so. Can we hook him up? Sellers are like, hey, no problem. Right? Don't ask me for no repairs. But here's $7,000, $10,000, $5,000. That's how veterans are buying properties with little to no money out of their pocket. They may have to pay for an inspection. They may pay for an appraisal. They may give some money for earnest just to show that they're serious. But you're talking less than $2,000 out of your pocket to buy $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 properties, guys. Okay. So again, you have to maximize your VA loans, guys. But either way, scan that QR code. If you're watching this on your TV today, take out your phone, scan that QR code to get registered for our event. And of course, if you are on your phones, the link is inside the description and also inside of the chat. Let's go ahead and get into the chat. Speaking of which, and before we get into the chat, guys, this is another homeowner real quick. I just want to show you guys this real story real quick here. And listen, I'm telling you, we help a lot of people. Nationwide, we help people, okay? We simplify home ownership, but not just home ownership. Any of your credit goals, we simplify it. But we have focuses that we do. And for the next week or two, we're going to be focusing on home ownership. Okay, we'll be talking about lowering car payments, business credit, business funding, buying a car, leasing a car, buying property, flipping real. There's so many different ways we can maximize our credit. Okay, I want to make sure you're not just learning. I want you all to say, you know what? I now have a strategy. I now have an idea of what I need to be doing. Okay, what are you doing with your credit? I know you have a 600, 700, 800. What are we doing with it? Are we making investments? Are we getting businesses? Or are you just telling your circle of friends, hey, look at my 750 score? It means nothing if you're doing nothing with it. Anyway, so this is a young lady right here. She got our custom game plan. For those who don't know, we have a custom game plan. This is where we can look at your credit report and tell you exactly what you need to do in order to accomplish whatever that next credit goal is. Or if you just want to increase your credit score. Either way, we created a custom game plan for her. She says, listen, I want to buy property. I said, no problem. And at the time, she didn't meet the qualifications. She got the game plan. We told her what she needed to do. And then she ended up buying property, right? She's now a homeowner. This was back in 2018, I think 2019. Not long after that, which was this year, actually, she took the equity out of this property. You know how much equity she had? She had somewhere between $90,000 to $100,000 in equity. She bought the house at like 130. It's worth like, I think 210, somewhere in that range, 215, somewhere in that range. Either way, she bought that property. Okay. And when she bought that property, she was able to take the equity out of the property, of course, later down the line. And she took out a percentage of that equity. She paid off a lot of her debts. She didn't have a ton of debts, but she paid off her debts. These are things that people are talking about. Listen, what kind of debt do people have out there right now? Student loan debt, credit card debt, bad loans, charge-offs, old stuff, right? Just old stuff. Okay. Somebody put in the comments, you have options. You have options. You know what she did? She turned her property into a bank. How do you do that? Anybody that owns property, it's pretty much a bank. You can get a line of credit based on that equity. You can do a cash out refinance because it's worth more. It's worth more than what you owe on the property. This is some people use this as a retirement plan. Don't recommend that. Just living off of the equity. No, you want to reinvest that equity. So you know what she did? She turned the first property into an Airbnb. Now she's living in the second property, which is now the condo with less debt. And she used the equity from property number 1 to buy property 2. Y'all see this? She went from not qualifying. She went from being in the low 500s, high 400s, somewhere in that range, to getting a game plan, to actually saying, you know what, instead of me just learning, let me execute. See, some of you all are addicted to learning. Let me say this again. Some of you all are addicted to learning, but allergic to execution. Some of you all are addicted to learning, watching videos, taking notes, going to school, do your thing. But you're allergic to action. You're allergic to execution. You say, well, I'm going to do this when? For all my Yo Gotti fans out there, he said, put a date on it. I'm from Memphis. He said, put a date on it. Right? Put a date on your goals. You say you want to buy property? When? You want to buy rental property? When? Somebody put in the comments, when? That's really all it is. It's when and how. When and how. Anyway, let's jump into the comments here. I'm just here to remind you of your goals. I know your friends are reminding you of your goals. I know your pastors are reminding you of your goals. I know your coworkers are reminding you of your goals. I know your kids are reminding you of your goals. I'm just here reminding you of your goals. That's all. The ones I can help you with. Okay? The ones I can help you with. Carla's in the house. Listen, we're going to be bragging on Carla. Listen, man, you know what? I need to do that. Let me go ahead and do that right now. We got Carla in the house. We can't listen. We got some amazing things happening here. Listen, don't y'all be bothering Carla either when I show y'all this. Don't y'all be bothering her, okay? But anyway, here, let me stop sharing this real quick. And I'm going to, how long am I going to do this? You know what? Here, let me do this. Give me one. Let me see what it looks like. Okay, now I see what it looks like. All right, so now give me 1 second here. We're going to brag on Carla. Hope Carla's still here, even if she's not. Listen, she's been working so hard. She's been working so hard to really get to where she's at right now. So let's brag on Carla real quick. Just so you guys know, Carla has increased. She's been increasing her credit score. That's when you work with 850 Club, that's going to happen. Okay. But she also lowered her car payment. She lowered her car payment close to $100 a month. We're now saving. We just helped Carla. She's saving $12,000 a year, $1,200 a year. Right? Guys, come on, $1,200. Anyway, here, let me pull this up real quick for those who are still here. Something just happened with Carla today. Well, not today, a couple of days ago, actually. And okay, cool. I want to make sure I could get that updated here. And then I'm going to share this real quick. Appreciate you being here, Carla, if you're still here. In the 850 Club Elite. She's in the 850 Club Elite member. Okay. But listen, she just got an approval for a Chase Sapphire. Isn't that something? $8,000 credit line, man, out here acting a fool. Okay. But y'all don't know the story. See, a lot of times people they say, oh man, congratulations. And don't get me wrong. We're congratulating her. You got to know the story, right? She went from joining, of course, the 850 Club Elite, finding out that she could use her father's military background to get inside a Navy Federal, sidebar, right? Then she lowered her car payment by refinancing it. Then her credit score started going up and down, dropping, things of that sort. Her job told her, we need everybody at the company to reapply for your job. We need, imagine that. We're not going to get political in here. But listen, a lot of government employees are losing good jobs. Right? People are being affected by a lot of changes that's happening. See, it's everything that's happening in your neighborhood or to your friends, it's not going to be on the news. So people think nothing's going on. Yes, we have listen, these are major problems. But either way, thankfully, she was able to get another job. But not just that, because of course she's most definitely going to bring in money. But she just got approved for an $8,000 limit credit card, guys. That's major. And that's, of course, she's being around other people. And of course, y'all know we have fun here inside the 850 Club Elite. And look at that. we're going to be celebrating you. Now, I don't know if you're around people that celebrate you, but we make sure that you are well celebrated here inside the 850 Club Elite community. Okay. Just an amazing place to be. But anyway, let's go back to it, guys. But man, listen, it's so much to do inside the 850 Club Elite. For those who don't know, we do have a lot of different ways that you can increase your credit score. We have our 90-day credit mastery boot camp. Of course, you can get a custom game plan. You can learn how to increase your credit score. We have a book of the month. We show you how to lower your car payment, personal loans, business credit. You get early access to all of our interviews. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes. Not to mention that you get your questions answered by the people that present. So a lot of times, listen, for those who don't know, when you guys are watching the interviews on YouTube, a lot of times about 90 to 95% of the time, the person that we're interviewing, they stick around to do a Q&A. And they answer questions 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes of answering questions just by people being elite. It's the value is insane. But anyway, I want to make sure I told you guys that. So shout out to Carla, leading by example. Okay. Amy's in the house from Maryland. Appreciate you being here. Young and Company says Elite is in the house. Thanks, Calvin, for all the effort. Absolutely. Appreciate you being here. Tom from Texas. Texas is in the building. But the other Calvin is in the house. Elite, what's going on? Nick is here as well. Elite family, happy Sunday. California is in the building. Listen, Nick done learned so much being a part of Elite. He always has great questions during interviews and such, man. We got so much to do. Listen, Elite. I'm gonna ask you all today inside the Elite because I need to know what you guys want to learn. I always have an idea of what you all want to learn, but I need to know what you guys. We need to start getting more of this information in. Okay, and of course, Mike is in the building. Happy Sunday, brother. What a blessed weekend. Mike credit score just went up another 45 points. You're talking about a man that used to be homeless that's now getting closer to 700s. Okay, guys. So, and I think one of his scores is already over the 700s. You're talking about a man that was homeless now qualifying to get multiple properties. Alethea is in the house, one of the biggest fans here. She says all about action. Mike says it's all about action. Tom says it's all about action. Calvin says action is what speaks. Okay. Grinder says I'm celebrating a lot of success this weekend. That's right. Grinder says, he says how fast the accounts paid off reported. Yeah. They didn't even take 2 days to update. There you go. Yeah. For those who don't know, Mike just consolidated all of his debts, good and bad, into one consolidated loan. And so that actually increased his credit score because we took care of some old stuff, some bad stuff. See, a lot of times people keep just telling you all, just dispute. Let it fall off your credit report. Man, listen, some of you all are wondering why you can't get approved for some of these banks because they still have you in their database of a person that does not pay. I'm telling you, if you do it the right way, these banks will be fighting for your business if you do it the right way. I'm just letting you guys know. But what do I know? Alethea says you do have options. Ellen says you have options. Alethea says win, win, win. That's what it's all about. Calvin says options are on the table. Mike says I was surprised at how fast those accounts reported. Yep, absolutely. And look at that. Cassandra is holding the Facebook side down. Okay, appreciate you being here, especially on Facebook and such. For those who don't know, this is live on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, our favorite YouTube. So, of course, if you guys like this information, make sure you guys go and like, share, and subscribe as well, too. And Alethea says, walk out your talk. I know that's right. Okay. Or as Alethea always say, y'all better pay your bills. It's crazy because I can hear her saying that. So, but that's one of the things she always says. Listen, y'all better pay y'all bills. Okay. But anyway, guys, listen, we have our free webinar, Credit to Home. Listen, it is tomorrow. So make sure you get registered. Okay. Make sure you get the information. Well, Calvin, I just signed a new lease. I'm not ready to buy a home yet. Get the information. Well, Calvin, you know what? I don't have the money saved up right now when I am ready or at this moment. Get the information. Well, Calvin, you know what? I just got fired from my job. I don't know when I'm going to be working next again. Get the information. Well, we just bought a house, but we don't know. But we thinking about buying another house soon later down the line, multi-unit properties, things of that sort. Get the information. Just guys, listen, there's two things that's keeping you from where you want to be in life. Number one is information. You don't know. Here's the worst part. We don't know what we don't know. Right? We don't even know what we don't know. So that's number one. Get the information. Number two, execution means nothing. A lot of people addicted to information. They get bachelor's, master's, PhDs. That's great. What are we doing with it? It's looking like a receipt on the wall. What are we doing with this? Okay. It's not about higher education. I want to be clear. It's about just learning something in general. And you don't have to, can you execute on everything? You may not be able to execute on everything. Right. But you got to at least say, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be wasting my time, because some of you all are wasting time. Some of you all are wasting money. Some of you all are wasting other people's money. Some of you all are wasting your parents' money. Don't do that. Don't do that. I was like, you know what? And for those who don't know, well, I'll talk about that another time. But because I was going to go into a whole nother subtopic. But again, guys, credit to home. This is where you need to be at. All right. Is this where you need to be? And of course, Mike says that $171 collection that I paid off and have been disputing for 2 months in credit repair. It didn't even take a week after I paid it off, and they removed it. Let me tell you all something. Some of you all are paying hundreds of dollars to not pay a smaller amount. Some of you all are paying thousands of dollars in credit repair. You could take that same money, negotiate those debts, and get them removed. You are wasting time. Most people in the credit repair industry, they do two things. That's it. They send out dispute letters. And then they tell you to get a trade line. That's it. You want to buy a house? They can't help you. You want to buy a car? They can't help you. Want to get a high limit credit card? They can't help you. You want to buy rental property? They've never done it before. Not all of everybody, just some, just most. I'm not knocking the industry. What I am knocking is that you need more than that. You need more. I know you need more. That's why we started 850 Club, because as we learn, as we get the information, listen, houses, that's easy. Rental properties, that's easy. High limit credit cards, Carla just showed you how easy that is now. It's easy, especially when you're in position and you're following the right way. These banks will come to you. Anyway, I ain't gonna hold y'all up. All right, guys, make sure you guys go and get registered for the webinar. It is free. Close your eyes. What do you see? It costs nothing. We'll see you guys there. And also, too, if you haven't done so already, make sure you guys go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys being here.